for a little bit. Okay, welcome to part 2. The camera's better this time. And I actually have a script that I'm actually going to follow this time. Okay, so, as much as I love a good East Asian drama, it has to have certain standards for me, especially when it's based on a manga that I love. I have seen many dramas with comedy that have extreme secondhand embarrassment for me. Case in point being when the main character makes a mess of themselves in public or similar. I fucking hate that shit. I hate it. Hate it. Needs to die. Can't there be comedy in an Asian drama that does not have, second-hand embarrassment? For fucking once. Now, to preface this, I have seen the Japanese dramas for Hana-Yori Dango, aka Boys Over Flowers or Boys Before Flowers, whichever title you prefer, and I loved them both. Before that, I read the entire manga, all 37 volumes of it. I watched the anime, which was only one season with 51 episodes, and they were very good. They were very good. Both dramas were very good. They rearranged everything and changed a ton, but they were actually good changes. I'm actually a bigger fan of staying close to the source material, but they did a good job. The Korean drama did a very good job of sticking to the source, except the whole first episode. The whole first episode is completely different. The character motives didn't make much sense, but the story ultimately didn't suffer for it. I like the Korean one a lot. A lot. I've only seen parts of the Taiwanese drama Meteor Garden, but I haven't seen the 2018 Chinese remake of Meteor Garden on Netflix, mostly because of Two Set Violin, who made the video basically analyzing the lack of violin acting made by the violin boy, aka Rui. I can make a whole other video about those, but I won't. Let's talk about Hana-Kimi now. I've always wanted an anime for it. And it deserves a good anime. It deserves an anime in general. But it never got popular enough. But thankfully, there was a Japanese drama. Was it good? No. I cringed at their attempts with comedy with so much secondhand embarrassment. I hated basically everyone. Not to mention the source material was nearly ignored. Everything was rearranged, which I don't especially hate, but when you rearrange it wrong, that's when I hate it. They chose the actress. The actress they cast for Mizuki was too pretty. The actress they chose for Julia had a thick Japanese accent when she spoke English, even though she's supposed to be a native English speaker. Not to mention the terrible makeup and the wig and the contacts. I could tell her contacts. I can tell her eyes are not blue. I can tell. People aren't stupid. But the worst part about it for me was that Sano didn't find out she was a girl until episode 5. I was livid. He found out in the manga in chapter 1. Chapter fucking 1. He found out. I already went through all that episode 5 nonsense when I saw the Taiwanese drama. But let's talk about the Taiwanese drama for a moment. I did like that they stuck with the original story for the most part. The acting was a little weird, and Kayashima's character was done more with a comedy, but I dug it. It was good. The thing that killed it for me was the actress who played Mizuki. I don't say this often, but she was kind of ugly, and I hated it. I hated feeling that way. I hated feeling that that she just didn't, uh, she didn't look right to me. Um, Now, don't get me wrong. Her acting was great and she was very expressive, but it seemed really like rubbery. He was like a not the teeth thing, obviously, because I do that thing, but like kind of acting, and I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan. Boys don't act like that. Um, Sano pretty much found out in episode 4, which kind of pissed me off at the time, but not as much as the Japanese drama did when I saw that one years later. It really irks me even now that the only part that I vividly remember was the scene when they fell down the ravine in volume 3 after he rescued her from the date rape guy. Where she had an extended dream sequence that just made me squirm. It wasn't, I was very, very uncomfortable with that, even when I saw it as a teenager. I was just like, I hated watching it so, so much. But even so, that version remains my favorite version. I was actually very happy when they actually hired a Brazilian actress to play Julia. I think that was a good change. Like, Julia doesn't have to be white. She just doesn't have to. She doesn't have to have that. Just don't hire someone with an obvious um, non-American accent when she speaks English. Like, Julia, in my perspective, is like always American. Unless like she was an immigrant from another country like Brazil, but now okay, going back to the Japanese versions. The Japanese drama, they made two. It's basically a remake of the first one. The second Japanese drama wasn't as cringy as the first, but it was basically a remake of the first one. It had a cameo of the Dorm 3 leader from the previous series meeting the Dorm 3 leader from the current series, and that made me giggle. But not much else. I think it almost took itself too seriously, and I didn't end up finishing it. Either that or I blocked it out. And then we come to the Korean version. I had so much hope for this version when I saw the Korean Boys Over Flowers. That's my favorite Korean. That's my favorite Boys Over Flowers version. Above that's not above the manga or the anime. That series was so impeccable that I hold it with such high regard even 10 years later. That series came out 10 years ago. I remember when that series came out. I was watching it like week to week to week episodes, episodes coming out. The Korean version of Hana-Kimi, I saw the first episode fairly into its airing. I kind of hated that the girl they added at the beginning. I kind of hated the girl they added at the beginning and hoped she would go away soon. She didn't. Spoiler alert. I love that they actually hired someone who looked half Korean or half white for Mizuki's brother. His English was fantastic, and he sounded like a native Korean speaker to me. The doctor saw him out, and he was like, "I've never been gay. I've never felt gayer than in my whole life before this moment." Like, he saw Mizuki's brother, and he had that reaction. I just thought that acting was just gold. That was fantastic. And if you didn't know before, the Doctor was gay, and he is gay in every version, and I am glad for that, at least. Um, but as the episodes went on. I saw it. I started watching it before before that drama company went out of business. I actually was a subscriber, like a premium subscriber. I paid for those episodes to watch those episodes every month. But after they shut down, I was just like, meh, it's fine. Drama Fever. There we go. But no, I'll get to why I didn't finish it in a minute. As the episodes went on, the more I hated. I didn't care that they rearranged everything. I was used to that by now. I hated, but what I did hate was every scene where Sano shot a commercial. I hated that he only found out she was a girl halfway through the fucking series, and but the thing that made me rage quit the most was the unnecessary drama. This is not unnecessary drama right here. There's one main drama. Not even the cheating scandal that Nakatsu got into was unnecessary. That was a good little side story. It really banded the whole school together, and it was kind of good foreshadowing for what happened at the very end. But that's necessary drama. The unnecessary drama was with gender bender drama. This is not the only drama that's done that before. You're Beautiful had a similar unnecessary drama point, but if that's to give you any hint, if you've seen You're Beautiful, then that's your hint. Now, I like a good drama, but there has to be a line fucking somewhere. To this day, I haven't seen the rest of it because of that stupid girl that they added. Fucked up everything. But no, let's talk about her next. Let me just explain what just pisses me off about her. First of all, I'm pretty sure she is the character in Volume 1 that was super clingy and to Sano, but was never seen or heard from again after Chapter 4. This girl in the Korean drama, she was made to be a gymnast who always doe-eyed her way into the boys' dorm just to stalk him. She broke into their dorm pretty much whenever she felt like it, and nobody did a fucking thing. Nobody. She was super jealous of Mizuki and bullied her in every scene they were alone together. This bitch basically became Sano's guard dog that he didn't need and drove away everyone who had the nerve to get close. She didn't have the right to do so in the first place, but Sano just let it happen, I guess, because he's a loner. Personally, I'd rather ignore people on my own than let some girl monopolize me, but one thing that really pissed me off was how these teenage boys didn't lock their stupid doors. None of them locked their stupid doors, especially not Sano and Mizuki. They locked the stupid doors already. Fuck. I don't know any teenager who doesn't lock their door. I lock my door. Not recently, but I lock my door. I locked my door then. I locked my door in college. I locked my door if I was going to leave. I locked my door if I was going to sleep. I don't get it. I don't get it. How all of these boys just don't lock their stupid fucking doors. But But the few I have actually met people who don't lock their doors. I've had to speak to them and say, these are everywhere, and here's proof. Happened to me when I was in college. When my roommate didn't lock the door when she left for her classes. I always went first because I always had the earlier classes, but she always left later because she had the later classes. And one of these guys that she was friends with used to come into our dorm and hang out without my permission, without her permission, and played with my pocket knife with fire inside a dorm. I had to talk to her about that. I said, hey, he keeps coming into our room, he keeps playing with my knife, and I don't want him to do it. My dad gave me that knife. It's a good knife. It's a pocket knife. I still have it somewhere. I'm not gonna get it. I mean, it was just a little pocket knife, but like, it was mine. He wasn't my friend. He was her friend. And he still played with it with fire and actually burned the thing when he wasn't in class. And I want to say that he wasn't in class a lot. Anyway. But, you know, these boys need to lock their stupid doors, especially when they've established at the end of the pilot episode that people have no concept of knocking and then barging in whenever they feel like it. But now that that's out of the way, one thing that echoed throughout the Japanese dramas, both of them, and the Korean drama were the fangirls. These teenagers literally had nothing better to do than to hang out in front of a boys' school, terrorizing the security guards and the administration every time they walked by or prevented the girls from getting in. And the stupid I love you signs. Now, I'm a big fan of you. And on the Japanese dramas, they mostly consisted of the girls' school and these particular three. If you've seen the Japanese dramas, you know the ones that said they were basically part of the official fan club and no other girl can join. I face-palmed every scene. To end this on a bitter note, I actually stopped watching the Korean drama when the gymnast girl actually found out that Mizuki was a girl and threatened her with exposure if she didn't willingly leave the school. I was so mad. The just rage that flowed through my body was just... Anyway. The drama actually made me feel for her when she got injured while practicing for some kind of performance. She was hospitalized and everything. But then she had to pull this shit. I want to say that she kept Mizuki's secret after she was injured and realized Sano didn't care for her as much as she thought. But I'm just still too angry to find out if that's actually true. And I'm not even going to research it. I hate her so much. I don't care that it makes me look lazy or whatever. She just pisses me off that much. Now, this rant has gone on for too long, and not as long as the synopsis video, but long nonetheless. The third and final installment will be the potential future for this series and how I would rewrite the live-action dramas for a modern time. That's going to be fun. I like rewriting things. I have whole books on rewriting things for modern age. Guess I'll see you then.